Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Welcome, beautiful souls and mystical beings, to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, your host for this episode. Let's talk about veterans and how veterans are treated in this country, shall we? And for some of you who really hear that and think, I'm not really interested in this, let's talk about how certain human beings are treated in this country. Human beings that are expected to and sent off to war, sent away to participate in violence, sent away to potentially be maimed, murdered, killed. They're sent away to possibly die in combat, in battle, fighting, participating in violence, because we in this world, and especially in this country, can't get our shit together to stop creating and promoting violence on this planet. And so we're very happy to send men and women to war, to die, to move through trauma. And then we are not prepared or equipped to take care of them and nurture them and support them and heal them in the aftermath of the time that they've served, in the experiences that they have had, in the traumas that they have received and experienced. We are not prepared. It's like once you come back, whatever. How do we treat our veterans when they come back from some of the most mentally, emotionally, psychologically, excruciatingly experiences that the average person could never in their lives comprehend? I will never pretend to comprehend what it would feel like to kill and murder a bunch of innocent people in war, in battle. I can't imagine what that would feel like mentally, emotionally, psychologically. And yet men and women are sent off to do just that. And that's part of some people's experience. They come home and they know that their orders to do a certain something means that resulted in a lot of casualties, a lot of deaths. They've killed people who were innocent. That is never a blame or a fault. That's what we send humans to do. And then when they come back, we are not properly equipped with how to handle their trauma other than put them on a bunch of drugs like depressants, anti-anxiety meds. That's our solution. That's our solution. And maybe a little bit of talk therapy, which doesn't heal shit. That's our solution for putting men and women in these life scenarios that humans shouldn't even have to experience ever. We should be evolved enough and peaceful enough and loving enough that we don't actually have to go to war anymore and murder one another over what? Greed, money, a false sense of power. I mean, come on. But here's the reality that we have still been living in. We do that. And then here's what just blows my mind about it. We're happy in this country, in the United States of America. We're certainly happy to send you off to do the dirty work, to do the violent shit, right? We're happy to go traumatize you over and over. And then you come home and we have no idea how to actually heal inside of you what that trauma has done to you. The creation of trauma on an energetic level, that means physically, mentally, emotionally. That's all energetics. What that does to you, that's the creation of the anxiety, the PTSD, the panic attacks, the depression, etc. That creates those things. And what we do is we'll give you prescriptions which never heal on any level. They don't heal. We live in a mental sick care system, not mental health care, mental sick care system, where the solution is to keep you in the sick care system for the rest of your life because prescription drugs do not heal you. They mask symptoms. That's all they're meant to do. Because if you're sick and you always have to be on prescriptions and upping the dose and changing this one because you've adapted to it, your body's adapted to it, doesn't seem to work anymore. Work with what? Masking symptoms. That is all pharmaceuticals are for. They are to mask symptoms so you don't have to feel shit. Instead of teaching you how to heal everything, every aspect of emotional and mental anguish, every aspect of your unhealed trauma, you can heal. One of the many reasons I left Western sick care system was one of the many reasons, but this is one of them. I had a ton of patients back in the day for a couple of years, just so many veterans. I've worked with so many veterans. And at the time, I was specializing after my master's degree. I became a clinical licensed therapist. I was an occupational therapist doing rehabilitation, but I specialize in mental, emotional, behavioral health. Okay. So extensive continuing education on, to specialize in mental, emotional, behavioral health. And I just coincidentally happened to have a stint of like 2 years or something like that. Where a ton of my patients in the healthcare system and home health carried over into home health when I did home health were veterans. And the level of trauma and depression and PTSD, I mean, everybody knows this. We're aware of this, right? But what the painful lessons that I had to learn way back then, many years ago, was how veterans are treated and the lack of support and care that they actually receive. It's like you get the bare minimum and, go to your appointments in order to get your prescriptions and your drugs and, maybe a little talk therapy here and there. And that's pretty much it. The level, the teaching, the level of, coaching and counseling and programs that you should be enrolled in automatically when you come home. It should be automatic that you are enrolled in programs that actually teach you how to move through your trauma. It isn't something you're going to heal overnight. You're not going to heal it in a week or a month. It's going to take time. But here's the thing. I have been doing this my entire adult life collectively. You can heal all of this. How to heal all of this, whatever trauma you personally are experiencing, whatever you're struggling with, whatever PTSD, whatever, you can heal that within yourself. You just have to be willing to learn how. Nobody can force you to do the work. I can't force anybody who's a client of mine to do the work that I'm teaching them and walking them through. Okay. But if you're willing to do the work, you can heal every layer. Understanding that these levels of trauma take time to heal, but you have to be willing to do your part and learn something brand new. Learn how to become something completely different than you once were in order to be a healed, whole person who is psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually free. You can achieve that. Okay. This is what we do at Masters of Self University. This is my entire life's work. This is what we teach you how to do here. Okay. Now, for veterans, it typically, I'm generalizing here, but because of what people who have been deployed and people who have been to war and people who've seen battle and, all of the things, I don't have, obviously, I'm not going to go into detail. It doesn't matter anyway, but all of the things that you've experienced, it will take longer on average for somebody who has experienced those things, those levels of trauma, those levels of violence. It takes longer to heal, but that's normal. It's not like That's of course it's going to take longer to heal those kinds of traumas versus, a couple of things in your childhood with that were a little bit traumatic and you can't put your finger on, you can't really remember anything happening, but something's wrong. You keep running these stupid patterns that are sabotaging your life. That's going to take a lot less time to heal and alchemize and evolve out of than it is the serious types of traumas, the degree of trauma that you experience, for example, as a veteran. And you just understand that. And if you understand that, it isn't hard to heal these things. It just takes time, it takes willingness, it takes devotion. You have to learn what it means on an energetic level to move through this level of pain and alchemize it and what that means. And we teach you what that means. I mean, right now you're just hearing words, you know, but there is a process to learn that we walk you through step by step where, I mean, that's the whole point of the work that we do. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying that, by the way, the reason why I'm saying that and emphasizing that, especially right now, is because I want everyone to understand that this level of healing actually exists. It's not like it doesn't exist. It's not like our government doesn't have access to people like me and my organization that they could absolutely utilize and fund veterans coming to people like us, where we can take you to the deepest root causes of all of your emotional pain and your traumas and your unhealed stuff and teach you step by step how to alchemize it one layer at a time, sometimes 20 layers at a time. But this is what we do. And it exists. And there's no such thing as this work not working. No such thing. There is such thing as people refusing to do the real work. We can't force you to heal yourself. We can just support you and walk you step by step and teach you how and help you to do it. Right? So if you understand that, why are there not, I mean, if we can afford, which is laughable even just to say this out loud, if our government can afford to send you over to train you, to train you to murder and kill and do all the things that you have to do, if we can afford to send you to war, if we can afford to traumatize you, let that sink in. If we can afford to traumatize you and put your life on the line for this country, but we somehow, when you come back, we can't afford to provide the processes, the people, the professionals that can actually teach you how to heal every level of your trauma. And for some of you, that's not going to take a year. For some of you, that'll take several years. There's nothing wrong with that, with what you've experienced. That can be perfectly normal. But we have the means to do that. And yet, look at all the statistics. Look at how many veterans are suffering. Look at how many commit suicide. Look at how many are on the streets. I mean, it's disgusting what our government allows to happen. It is despicable that our government allows this level of treatment, and it is a form of dehumanization to the veterans of this country. It is dehumanization to treat people like, go fight, put your life at risk, maybe murder some people, go participate in these levels of violence, go see the most traumatic things that the average person couldn't fucking comprehend, no matter how many goddamn war movies they've seen. You can't comprehend this in real life. But we're going to send you to do that. We're going to send you to do that. And then when you come back, expect you to not be fucked up and be able to just, adapt to civilian life and move about your business. And don't worry, we'll give you a bunch of prescription drugs if you need it, and we'll refill those so that you're stuck in our system for the rest of our lives, for the rest of your lives, because all the pharmaceutical companies make so much money. Meanwhile, that level of dehumanization, treating you like you're an object, not caring the mental anguish that you are suffering from when you come back, and not giving you the proper tools, the proper methods, the proper means and professionals that can actually teach you how to get out of all of that trauma. We won't do that. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why do we just discard human life so easily? The leaders of our country, our government, that can send people into those varying degrees of traumatic experiences. And if they live through it, when they come back and they're done serving, not much. But, maybe we'll give you some fucking medals and some shit. Like that does anything for your fucking mental health. But that's part of the brainwashing. We'll give you this award or that medal or that whatever. Like that does anything for your mental and emotional health. But this is what we do. This is what we do. This is what our government does. And it is despicable. I have had veterans in the past that have worked with me, the ones who were able I mean, this was when I was still working in the mental health field in Western sick care, healthcare. It was not me and my own organization. I couldn't it wasn't up to me how long I could keep any one of these, which were then, patients. Um, it wasn't up to me how long I could keep those patients because in the system, in our sick care system, it's um, it's up to corporations to make those decisions. So I, the actual therapist and professional, when I say, this is my treatment plan, this is how long I want to keep this patient, et cetera, um, other people make that decision. Corporations that don't have, any level of education and training and ongoing training after their degrees, they don't have any of that, but they're going to tell me what I can and cannot do with my patient. That's what's so sick about it. They do it to physicians too, of course. Um, but that's the system that I used to work in, right? So I had no ability to say, I want to keep this patient for however. I mean, I recommend it, but it's part of the treatment plan. But again, what I was told on so many levels, so many different times, what do you do? Like you're healing them too fast because they would make such incredible progress. Because the people personally that I've worked with, they were in such severe pain and mental anguish and emotional anguish, and they were so desperate to not live like this for another 10 minutes, let alone another hour, let alone another day, right? So, I've had a lot of patients like that, and because that's the level of suffering that they were in, they were just desperate, they were willing to do anything. They were so desperate, they were willing to do anything. I had a lot of patients back in the day that were, um, you know, diagnosed with suicidal ideologies and all these things, and they were those were just part of their diagnoses, right? And in the work that I was teaching them, and I couldn't teach them anything that I teach today, by the way, 100 times more powerful because I have my own organization and I don't have to worry about insurance companies denying, and not giving people the help they need. We just give people the help you need when you come to us for coaching and come to us for our programs. So I didn't give them barely a fraction of what I can do and do today in my own organization. I had to be very careful in what I was able to provide because I am the way of integrity. I am. I've never not been. I am the way of integrity. I am the way of responsibility. I am the way of, trust and truth and all of those. So I would make sure I did the checkbox of what I was required to do as their therapist, what was expected by the insurance companies, but I just always gave them extra. I just always did other things in addition. And those were, watered down levels of what I do today in my own organization and what my certified coaches do in coaching in our coaching programs at Masters of Self University. And even in those watered down versions, there were um, there were veterans who, when they were able to work with me long enough, I mean, they just got off all of their medications, and I mean not just got off medication. They healed so powerfully they could feel the side effects and things of their medication that they didn't like antidepressants, they didn't wanna be on them anymore. And when they got off of those, they're like they felt like $1,000,000. They're like, "This is incredible. The work you do is incredible." And then because so I wanna say 2 things because I really want you to have some discernment, and I wanna educate you a little bit in case this is something you're not quite aware of. So, insurance companies, when you make a lot of progress, there's no reason for you to keep the patient. You have to discharge them. And that means the home health or the hospital system or wherever whatever you're working for, um, they then don't get to make money off that patient because you didn't quote unquote keep them long enough. Now, but again, they've made all of the progress to where I couldn't justify keeping them. Okay. Now, in my own personal, organization, like at Masters of Self University, it's not like, first of all, it isn't about how long we keep you as a client or don't keep you. Our minimum programs are 3 months. You can't possibly get a baseline, a foundation of this work in anything less than that. And everything that we do, everything that I've created, the support of the digital coursework, the workbook that goes with your live coaching every week with your coach or in your group class, whatever it is that you've signed up for. All of that means that you can make such powerful transformation in a matter of 3 months. And that's the shortest amount of time that we'll work with anybody. You cannot heal this kind of trauma in any less than that. I will also emphasize it's not like all of your trauma is healed in a matter of 3 months. This is a minimum requirement, 3 months. Almost all people need to continue coaching and go longer than that. But how much longer than that? After you've done this baseline, this foundational work where you actually gain the skills to completely heal everything that comes up for you. You learn that in the 3 months. How efficient are you? How solid are you in it in 3 months? That's gonna be different for every person. This isn't a competition. It's we go at your own pace, but majority of people really need to continue for a lot longer than 3 months in order to truly master this work and make sure they have enough support for long enough to continue. That when you are functioning in oneness consciousness and not when you are functioning from corporations deciding what you can and cannot do with your patients.
Quick announcement, we are currently filling our June group class. So if you're listening to this in June of 2024, we are currently filling this class. If you are ready to do this work, then please do a free consultation and save your spot. To learn this work, to learn how to go on this amazing journey of inner transformation, of learning how to see and awaken to all of the programs and wounds you have. And then, of course, connect to your heart and learn how to really alchemize and transform at the deepest level by connecting to your soul. So I hope to see you there. And please enjoy the rest of this podcast with the one and only Rachel Fiori. Thank you.
We as professionals make our recommendations. For example, it would be easy to say, especially for veterans, especially for that level of trauma, here's our foundational 3 months. Now let's keep going. Okay? For anybody receiving this coaching, a lot of times, let's keep going every week for a little while. Let's do it month to month. That's just one example. Let's now reduce. You're doing great. Let's do every other week. Let's reduce it. Let's do every other week. Let's see how you do. If you were getting one-on-one coaching, hey, let's drop to a group class. You've evolved. It would be really beneficial for you as an individual to be a part of a group. Let's expand into a group class. You can do the group class once a month. I'm giving you so many different variations and examples. Why? Because what we do is customized. Why is it customized? Because it's what benefits you. And you are your own unique individual. And what progress you make in this month, you might make a little bit of progress next month or drastic, insane jumps in your levels of progress and your levels of elevation and healing and transformation in a month or a matter of 2 months. It all depends. It is unique to you and none of it is right or wrong. It just is. And so we support you in your own unique journey of healing and growth and elevation. And I can tell you with this work, because it's so deep, so transformational and so powerful. You hit bumps in the road along the way where you're really getting into your trauma. You're becoming more powerful in order to learn how to bring the way of compassion, the way of unconditional love, the way of harmlessness and gentleness, the way of patience to it, the way of all of the ways of oneness. You're learning how to bring these energetic vibrational frequencies that you are becoming. You're becoming a divinely powerful, powerful self that can simply alchemize and transform energy. Your pain, your emotions, your trauma, it's nothing but energy. Energy never dies, but it can always be transformed. That's what you learn in our programs. And so imagine if veterans were, adapting to civilian life, excuse me, and they just learned this automatically and they were enrolled in these programs automatically so that they could start to learn how to not compartmentalize their trauma anymore. Some, of course, you compartmentalize, you kind of have to. Not everybody. Again, own unique individual. But what is it that you do with your trauma is unique to you. And that is what we guide you through. For those who do compartmentalize, it's because you don't feel powerful enough to deal with the crazy shit that you've experienced. Who would ever want to? It's too horrific. The thing about that, when you totally suppress or repress it and compartmentalize it, is it always explodes out at some point. And any veterans who happen to be listening to this, you know exactly what I don't have to tell you. You can express it far better than I can. I just want our listeners who don't have this experience and are not veterans. I'm just trying to give you a simple understanding so that you can, increase your level of compassion and understanding for those who we're speaking of today. Okay. So, having said all of that, I want to just say that it is unacceptable for our government. I mean, it is sickening to me. It was sickening to me way back when I was in the system and I saw how veterans were treated, the dehumanization. I saw how just slap them with a bunch of meds and for the most part, we're good. Um, and although there are a lot of organizations out there for many years now that have been growing and more are coming about to help veterans, you guys, the work that we do at Masters of Self University is so unique and so profound. I have also talked to many people who have been through other organizations um, because they're veterans and they've gotten help. We've certified two different veterans, two men who became certified mystical life coaches. They went through our programs at Masters of Self University. And I remember the first one that I had met was like, there's no work, none of these programs have work like this. None of them. I've spoken to other veterans who have not been through the coaching, but when I've described it, they're like, you hear all these things. And, for the most part, it's like we rely on like psychedelics now and et cetera, which is not, that's okay. It cannot heal the root cause in the way that we can teach you how to heal anything that comes up for you. It's different. It doesn't mean those aren't great tools. They can be absolutely beautiful therapeutic tools. And of course, we don't want you to use that in our country. Our government doesn't want you to use those tools. Of course they don't, because the pharmaceuticals wouldn't make as much money. Those corporations, those companies wouldn't make as much money. Of course they don't want you to use something that is far cheaper and more effective and doesn't have the same side effects. And it doesn't mean to take any form of plant medicine not extraordinarily seriously. Don't take it lightly. It still needs to be offered in a therapeutic way, and people who offer it need to know what the hell they're actually doing. It can still be very unsafe, but with the right education and the people who know what they're doing and the professionals to help support you through it, you know, a lot of time it's far better methods and tools to support you in your healing than going the traditional route that we've shoved down everybody's throat in this country. So I just want to extend Ugh. I just want to extend my compassion. And I am sorry that those of you who experienced horrendous treatment and aren't getting the help that you need, there's nothing that I can do or say to express my compassion. It breaks my heart. And sincerely, from my soul, I am just sorry that we are not better for you because we have no fucking excuse to not be better for you and to not help you in a more profound way. For our government to send people to war, to send them into trauma, and then not have the resources and the means to provide for you once you come back home. It is despicable. There's no excuse for it. It is unacceptable. And I can tell you this is one of the many reasons why, when I was asked to run for president, why I said yes. Because I'm tired of having enough money to go fight war and promote more violence on this goddamn planet instead of putting money towards peace and healing. If we all put money towards healing, and that's where we spend our funds, on healing, healing globally, healing humanity. It's not like we don't know how to do it. I fucking know how to do it. I have mastered it. This is what I already do. I know how to do it step by step. And that is one of the things that makes me passionate about completely infiltrating our government with the way of wisdom, with the way of loyalty and selfless service to the people who need it the most. I want the people in our government, the majority of them, fucking removed because they're despicable. How dare we continue to promote dehumanization on all of the levels that we see in our current government? And for this, and don't even get me started on the way we dehumanize women. In this episode, I wanted to focus on veterans because for anybody listening to this, when you know a veteran, if you know somebody that needs help, send them to Masters of Self University. And I mean it. Get a free consultation and see how we may be able to help you on the deepest level that you deserve. And I can also tell you that in 2024, as I am running for president, this has all of this in what our government chooses to do with our money, the way that they just refuse to help the people. They created the problems. They've created the traumas. Our government sent you off to war, creating all of your fucking traumas, and then do not put you through the programs that can heal you, that you can learn how to heal yourself. They don't give you those resources automatically. The fact that they don't is disgusting. And that needs to change. I'm not willing to tolerate that anymore. I'm not willing to tolerate it anymore. And I'm not even a goddamn veteran. So if you know a veteran, share this with them. Share this with them. The new Congress Party that was developed, the American Congress Party, we are looking for people to join us. I am running for president under the American Congress Party. We are looking for people who want to change all of these things to join our party, to spread the word, to share this out, to donate, of course, because I have to raise a certain amount of campaign dollars in order to even be for the paperwork to be accepted. That's just in transparency. I don't make the rules, and I'm not president yet, so I have to abide by the stupid fucking rules that they put out. I am here to change those rules, though, and I am here to bring the people in to do it with me together in oneness when the time comes. Starting now. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from veterans. I really do. And I want you, if you need help, to reach out to Masters of Self University. And I'm serious about that, and see how we may be able to help you there. Okay, go to get a free consultation and just have us help you there. But on a bigger, grander scale, I am looking for you and I am putting the call out. Talk to your fellow veterans who want to see this change, that are fed up, that are tired of not getting the help and the resources they need. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to you because we think it is despicable and unacceptable too. We want to talk to you. Share this. Go to rachelfiori24.com. Go check out the American Congress Party. We are looking for people to join us so that we can make all of the things that we think we should have no tolerance for. There should be a zero tolerance policy for this. It's not like we don't have the goddamn resources. They exist. That's what's so infuriating about it. That is what is so infuriating about it. The resources are right here. There are a lot of good organizations, very specific to veterans, and I know that you know of some, and they are all doing great things, wonderful things, and they're doing their best. Okay? But the fact that we are so lacking in this area, there's no excuse for it, for our government to show up in this way. No excuse. So we are here to help you. We ask you in Oneness to also help us spread the word, share this out, check out the American Congress Party, see how you can volunteer or help or contribute in whatever ways. There's so many things that you can do in order for us to put the people in power that need to be in power, that actually care about other human beings, that actually heal people for a living, that actually educate people and elevate people for a living. Isn't that supposed to be who leads our communities, our country globally? Aren't the people who are actually healing and elevating and have the answers and the processes and the methods to become better beings and fully healed and whole? Isn't that who should be in charge and be in positions of power? And not just in this country, globally? Isn't that who real leaders are? Instead of these fucktards that for whatever personal greedy agenda, they'll participate in a war and slaughter a bunch of people, send men and women off to do the slaughtering, and then just like fuck all when they come back because we're not going to treat you like you're a human. You were our weapon. You did what we told you to do, and we used you. It's unacceptable. And we need to be better humans. And we can't heal humans who need healing. We can't support them if we ourselves are not elevated and better humans ourselves. Do you see it? So if you are sick of it and you want to be a bigger part, please, please check out the resources below. Please check out the American Congress Party. Please check out Rachel Fiori 24, rachelfiori24.com. Please go sign up for newsletters, make the donations, spread the word, contact us through our social media pages, through our websites, American Congress Party and rachelfiori24.com. Contact us and let us know that you want to be a part of a revolution, because that's what I'm here to create. I'm here to create and start a revolution. And that means be better humans, heal, whole, unite in oneness, become powerful, because we are the ones that hold all the power as long as we unite together. We need people in positions of power that actually give a shit about you. You can't give a shit about another human being if you haven't done the work on yourself. And if you're greedy and you're out for the money and you're, hundreds of millions of dollars in wealth, and it's just sickening because you live a cushy life. You don't have to think about the humans, the objectification, the people that you've sent off to war and how well they're doing when they come back. You don't give a shit. And unfortunately, too many people in our government don't give a shit. They're so far removed. That is separation consciousness. Go do our bidding. Do what we tell you to do. We use you as objects. And when we're done with you, we wipe our hands clean. And we keep fueling that system to bring more and more and more young men and women into the system. Traumatize them, don't give a shit after they're done. It's disgusting. And I cannot even believe that we have systems set up like this, that this is how we treat human beings. But I mean, look at the other problems in our world. It's not all that shocking when you look at what else is going on, especially in our own government. So if you want to make a bigger difference, and I mean this, we are putting the call out. Hey, I answered the call. And I want you to answer the call too. What are you willing to do? You willing to join us? You willing to join a revolution of spiritual awakening, of healing, of elevating, of empowering humans to heal fully and be the best versions of themselves and be able to thrive for the rest of their lives, no matter what they've been through, no matter what they've done in the past, no matter what traumas they've experienced, no matter the choices they've made in the past. You can heal and elevate and thrive and live your absolute most magnificent best life ever that you can't even imagine what it looks like. That is possible. You have to be willing to do the work to make it possible. You're a divine creator, amazing being. You have the power. You just have to learn how to connect to your power, how to heal all those versions of yourself that are broken, that are in terror and anxiety and trauma. You have to be willing to heal. And if you're willing to learn how to heal, there's no such thing that you can't. There is such thing that you won't, but no such thing that you can't. You just have to be educated. We have the resources for you. And if you want to make a bigger difference and spread this movement, I consider this to be a revolution. Again, please do your part and take action. Like, subscribe, share, follow, donate. Go to Rachel24.com, RachelFiori24.com. Donate to the campaign. Share this with other people. Share this out with veterans. We want you to be a part of our movement because together we have all of the power. Remember that. But we have to come together in oneness in order to use that power for the good of all. And with that, thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next episode.